All right, let's dive in. We are talking about a full-blown revolution in one of the biggest industries on the planet, automotive. For a century, this was an empire built on the internal combustion engine, with its heartland in the West. But now, that whole empire is being shaken to its core by brand new technologies and powerful new players from all over the globe. We're going to unpack how the entire map of the car world is being redrawn right before our eyes.
So let's just start with a number, just to get a sense of the scale we're dealing with here. $3.8 trillion. That's the annual revenue of the global auto industry. I mean, to put that into perspective, if the car industry were its own country, it would have the fifth largest economy on Earth. It's just massive.
Okay, so to really understand the chaos that's happening right now, you first have to appreciate the empire this industry built. Because for the last 100 years, it was about so much more than just cars and engines. It was a system that literally shaped the world we live in.
Experts call this the system of automobility. And it's this really cool idea that the car isn't just a product you buy. No, it's a cultural icon, right? A symbol of freedom, the centerpiece of this enormous industrial complex that has defined how we live, how we work, and even how we dream about the good life. And this system has incredible economic weight. Think about it. 12 of the world's top 100 corporations are automakers. Cars are the single biggest export product on the entire planet. And the industry is an absolute powerhouse for research, development, and engineering jobs. For decades, it seemed like a truly unshakable titan. And all of that economic power, well, it has a massive human footprint. When you add up all the direct and indirect jobs, from the person on the assembly line to the mechanic in your local repair shop, the auto industry supports the livelihoods of over 50 million people around the world. But that unshakable titan is now standing on some seriously shaky ground. A huge geographic shift is underway, and it is completely redrawing the map of who makes our cars and where they're made. So what this has created is something called a double restructuring. It's like a tale of two industries happening at the same time. On one side, you have the old guard, the traditional heartlands, where the industry is shrinking and stagnating. And on the other, you have the new guard, emerging nations, where a brand new, skyrocketing industry is being built from scratch. And you can see it right here. This chart shows the exact moment the balance of power just flipped. For a century, developed countries crushed it, dominating production. But look what happens after 2009. That's the crossover point. And ever since, emerging countries have consistently outproduced the old guard. It's a total reversal. The result of all this is a historic shift in the industry's center of gravity. I mean, get this, China alone now builds nearly a third of all vehicles in the entire world. That is a staggering change in global production. Now, what's wild is that happening at the exact same time as this geographic earthquake is an equally massive technological one. The very soul of the car is being transformed, moving from a world of combustion to a world of code. And this didn't just happen overnight. It really started back in the 90s, with governments pushing for cleaner engines. That lit the fuse for the rise of the electric vehicle, the EV, in the 2000s. And then, in the last decade, the digital revolution just hit the industry full force, bringing AI and software right to the forefront and paving the way for autonomous vehicles. This technological disruption has basically kicked the gates wide open. All of a sudden, the competition isn't just, Ford versus Toyota anymore. No way. It's a battle against these aggressive, fast-moving tech companies like Tesla and Google and Uber, companies who see the car not as a machine, but as a software platform on wheels. But all of this disruption, both the geographic shifts and the new tech, it comes at a real human cost. And that cost is felt most by the millions of workers who actually built this industry in the first place. This quote here is actually from the dedication of the book this whole explainer is based on. And it really sets a clear focus for us, that beyond the trillions of dollars and the global markets, we have to understand the profound impact these changes are having on the people whose livelihoods depend on this industry. And this right here, this huge difference in wages, is a key driver of that geographic shift we were just talking about. An auto worker in Mexico earns just a tiny fraction of what their counterpart in Germany or the US makes. This has fueled this intense global competition on labor costs, something many people call a race to the bottom. And the consequences in the traditional auto hubs have been absolutely stark. As production moved overseas, union power and job security just evaporated.
I mean, in the US, the United Automobile Workers, the UAW, was once 1 million members strong, a real trendsetter for wages. Its membership has since totally collapsed. So, we've got a geographic earthquake and a technological revolution, both with massive consequences for workers. It all leads us to one final, critical question about the future. This is the central battle being fought right now. Who's going to win? Is it the legacy automakers who have a century of manufacturing know-how, or is it the new tech giants who are masters of software and data? Is the future of the car being built in Detroit and Stuttgart, or in Silicon Valley and Shenzhen?
Ultimately, it all boils down to this one question. The lines between a car company and a tech company are blurring faster than ever. And the answer, well, it won't just define the next 100 years of a multi-trillion-dollar industry, it's going to define the future of how all of us get from point A to point B.